So we're here again. It's 3 weeks since we installed this package. So it's not time for another inspection. Ahead of time we know that it's 3 weeks since we installed it, but it's only 18 days since she started laying. That means we should see all stages of brood, but our population is still decreasing from bees dying from old age from the package, and no new bees are emerging because they won't emerge for how many days, Austin? 21 days. We still got 3 or 4 more days before we actually start seeing brood emerging. But most importantly, we're going to check for eggs. I got everything I normally have: pollen patty, sugar water. What did I do with my pollen patty? Somewhere. I got some more here. Sugar water, hive tool, rack. One extra thing I have is the second hive body. I don't think I'm going to need it yet, but I've got it waxed down, scraped with wax, sprayed with sugar water. It's better to have it and not need it, because if I see 7 to 8 or 8 frames drawn out, I'm going to have to add this. For those of you who have medium setups, you're probably going to need it. It's hard to say, but you're more apt to. Those of you using frame feeders that take up two frames, you might be putting on your second hive body and moving your frame feeder up. So have it prepared so that you're ready to go. So basically looking for eggs. Susan Vincent, I have my glasses this time, I remembered. So as always, a little smoke at the entrance, a little smoke on top, and in we go. So they are eating the pollen patty. We're definitely going to give them some more, but they still got some. They didn't run out. They haven't gone through as much sugar water as they've been going through. Well, actually, it was kind of just sticky. They are down about the same as they've been. So we'll replace that. I'll set that over here. All this burr comb, you want to scrape that up. It's handy to have with you. Little Ziploc bag, and you can collect all this comb and you know, render it down later. They've actually stored some. I spilt some, and they've stored some sugar water in there, but I'll let the bees fly out. Shake them off. Okay, so our apivar strips are going to come out, and we're going to move them. Oh, actually, just one strip so far. Set that aside so I can put it in later. So, frame rack here. Always start from the outside. Now this is one, they're working, but this is one I moved from the middle to the outside because it didn't have any brood on it, except for these 2 little caps. And see, I moved them out. We'll see how they do, but that can go there. Now they're working on this, no brood, just sugar water, honey. And they just started working there. Oh, there goes my pollen patty. Haven't even worked this. Oh, it's let me grab that pollen patty down there. So I definitely got 3 full frames that they, and look who I just saw, quick and easy. There's our queen right there. So that was a quick one, but we've seen the queen, but I still haven't seen eggs, so our inspection's not done. Because I saw the queen on this frame, not that I was gonna, but we definitely don't, we're definitely not gonna hang this outside our hive. This is gonna stay right here. So it's looking, I can see empties here. I'm not gonna have to put that hive body on yet. But it's always good to have. See all this cap brood. And you got all stages here. You got larger larvae here. I don't know if you can get that, Austin. So that's figure 7-8 days. You got smaller larvae. You're thinking, you know, 4 to 6 days, 7. Then you got eggs over here. They're kind of laying down a little bit, so they're not the most recent that she laid. All around this outside is larger larvae and eggs up here. So we see eggs, so we know she's still doing her job. Now this is one of the first frames they worked. Look at this. Beautiful. So this burr comb, we can use a hive tool. We're going to scrape it off. We can save it. Now everybody holds up this frame and they take that happy beekeeper picture, and people put it on Facebook, and I do too. And it's a beautiful frame, all filled in, even around the edges. It's not capped as large larvae. But remember, when you're looking at this frame, you already inspected this frame. This doesn't tell you what she's doing now. It's important to see the eggs. This is 2 weeks old. So this is how she was doing 2 weeks ago. So still more important, even though this looks nice and you're looking forward to them emerging, it doesn't tell you what's going on now. So you always got to look for eggs. We already saw them. We could basically close this up, but we're going to clean up any burr comb, because it's important to clean this up. We don't want to drag this across frames, possibly injure our queen, and we want to keep everything nice and neat. So another good frame. And see, this is typical. You got your brood, and then you got your pollen up here, and then this is your honey, capped honey, same pollen up here. So we want to keep our brood in the center. And eggs, these might be standing up a little bit more, even though she was on the other side. She may have laid these a little more recently, and then probably ran out of room on this side and went roaming back across. As this frame's all filled with eggs. I don't know if you can get it, and then look at the pollen they're bringing in. So we're gonna put that back. All right, this frame, they're working it, but no brood. So because they're working this one, we're gonna spray it with some more sugar water. Anywhere they're not working, they still got a lot of wax on it. I'm not gonna scrape it with wax, but I'm gonna turn this around so that they gotta come all the way out here to work on it. And I'm gonna put it on my outside. And that way it'll encourage them to cross these frames, and hopefully start working these. I don't want to move my brood out because we want to keep that in the center where the cluster can be. Remember, the population's not getting any bigger, so we want to keep that centered so they can keep it warm. I believe this was where our queen was, and there's brood on this. Not a lot. She just started laying over here. Like I said, there she is again. So, and there is the most recent. There's eggs in these cells here. So that's a good way to help you find your queen. If you find the frame with the most recent eggs, that's a good one to pay a little more attention to and try to see if she's there. All right, they haven't even worked this. Did I spray this one? Yep. So we're gonna move this in, and then we got 2 that they started working. Put these on the outside. Encourage them to cross it. I am not going to add another super. I am going to give them more pollen patty so they can keep feeding. What else? We got to put the feeder back on. Sticks. I'll put this right over the brood. That's that. This pollen patty's still good. We'll move this somewhere else. In fact, I don't really remember where it was, but we're gonna pick a spot. Close it back up. We saw everything we wanted to see. Next week, it'll be 4 weeks. In a few days, our population is going to start going the other direction, and we're going to start all that brood that she laid 21 days ago, well 18 days ago now, but in 3 days, that'll start emerging, and so we'll start to see brood from this queen. Maybe we can get a video of that, of some bees emerging, so that would be cool. And probably next week, it's going to be time to put this extra deep on. If you have mediums, it might be time now for you. So we'll see you next week.